Hello, good evening. My name is Frankie Kington, known as the Wise Entrepreneur. Thank you for tuning to my YouTube channel. I have a lovely guest speaker on here and a dear friend of mine called Lisa Marie. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Frankie. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you here as well, Lisa. You know, you have a lot of experience. Lisa is a specialist with children, and I know she works with children. So we have a lot to talk about on what we plan for our children, the next generation. So I'm really looking forward to interviewing Lisa this evening. We've got a lot to talk about, and Lisa's going to share what she actually does and what I'm hoping to do working with Lisa. So I'm going to focus on Lisa. Lisa, tell us what you do, why you're here.
Thanks, Frankie. Well, I've been a primary school teacher for since I left college. So 23 years in the classroom. I've taught in different countries. I've taught in Dubai, America, the USA, and China. Um, so I've also taught in London and the UK, and I'm back in the UK now, where I'm settled down with my family in South London. And I've changed from being in the classroom. I've come out of the classroom and I'm going online, where my business now is to support parents with the confidence and the tools and resources that they need to become the very best educators for their children to teach them at home. So that's what I am doing now. I'm getting in with the parents so that they can learn to be that person for their children, whether that's through homework and the work that comes in from school, or whether they want to take it on full time as a home schooler. I am their person that can help them to just thrive to become the very best that they can be within that space, helping their child. And I sort of came to this through wanting to do tutoring, actually. I wanted to do online tutoring because unfortunately my health had taken a bit of a turn, and I thought, maybe it's not right to go back in the classroom because I have some disabilities now, and it would be easier if I were able to teach children online. So I looked into tutoring, and then of course lockdown happened. I'd started everything up. I was doing some of that, and I sort of pivoted and thought, hold on a minute, I'm working with my son here, my 5-year-old at home, and I'm finding that actually, even as an educator, it's not that easy as a teacher with all my bag of tricks. I'm still mum when I'm teaching him at home. So I had to do a bit of pivoting and look in my bag of tricks and find the best way for home learning to work for us, where I was, the teacher to him and not his mum. And I thought, gosh, it must be so hard for those parents out there that don't have all of that knowledge and background that I have in education, to be able to do that by themselves. And that I know how difficult it was from experiencing it myself. I've also been a working mum. So finding the time was another thing that I was really familiar with. So I thought, right, I think I've found my purpose. And I got really excited about the thought of being able to help parents to be lit up about helping their children. And there are so many parents that want to do that now, Frankie. So that's what I do. And I'm loving it.
That's great, Lisa. Thanks for all that information. I told you that this is going to be a great interview because you see, Lisa's got so many skills. But Lisa, what I want to ask you, it's been a challenging year, hasn't it, for a lot of people with COVID. What has COVID done for you? Has it been a benefit for you, Lisa? Has it been a benefit for you? What are the benefits of COVID?
I think there's been both, Frankie. I mean, it has been a very difficult time, and there's been benefits and there's been drawbacks. But the benefits I can say is that, through that challenge, like I said, feel like I found my purpose. So for me, that was a big moment where I was like, yes, this is really what I want to do. I'm fired up about it. I'm excited. I've always loved teaching, and now I have the opportunity to do something that I didn't even think that I could do, because when you're in the classroom as a teacher, you want to be able to reach out to the parents and help them as well, to know all the things that they can do to be helping in the background, but there's only so much you can say and do because your main job is working with the children. So now I get to affect the children through the parents. So I found my purpose. And also the other thing as well was obviously the benefit of spending lots of time with my son and home educating him. Whereas coming from the full-time teaching, I had had very little time with him until he started school in reception, because I had returned to work when he was 8 weeks old. And as soon as I took him for his first day at reception, this was just prior to COVID, I realized, wow, I really would like to be there for him, to be there for him every day and have that flexibility in my work to be able to give back, to do what I love, but also have that time with my family. And so I'm living my best life because I found that solution in what I'm doing now. And the other thing that was great as a benefit was the fact that parents are less likely to be, what's the word? I want to say skeptical about working online. Whereas prior to that, as a tutor, it was like, I don't think I want to do tutoring online. I can't see how that would help or that would work. And especially as I'm working with the younger end, because I'm an early years specialist. So it's the 3 to 8 year olds, really. A lot of parents weren't even thinking that that was possible online. But so now that has opened up, which is wonderful. And I don't like to talk about the drawbacks because we're trying to be very positive. We know there's plenty, but yeah, let's just focus on the good things moving forward.
Exactly, Lisa. I think for me, COVID, it really gave me a purpose of what I want to do in my life, where I want to be in the future. I feel as well that for me, I've learned new skills with the fact that COVID has come out. Online learning now, Lisa, is a $350 billion industry. So we're in the right place. I like the way you talked about flexibility, because it's very flexible now. Even though we're getting back to some kind of normality, it's interesting to see if people want to go back to work or people are happy working at home with their new skills. And I think it's great as well, the fact that you're a mother, that you can work with your son as well and your family from home. There's a lot of benefits of working from home because we don't have to travel and we don't have to worry about people getting on our nerves or having a bad day. We can just sit here and hopefully not get into bad habits like watching TV or making some food and getting into, so we have to learn new skills working from home. We have to be disciplined. We've got to be focused. We've got to make sure that what we're going to do, we're going to get done. And we focus on learning about our new skills. But for me, what I've learned as well is that everyone's throwing everything at you. Do this, do that, do this, do that. And I'm carefully picking what I want to focus on and what I don't need to focus on. Because unfortunately, as what we do as entrepreneurs or thought leaders are working to create a better world for our family and a better world for everybody else, money plays an important part, and people can tempt you and dangle money in front of your face. So we've really got to be wise at what we look at and how we educate ourselves. And I know, Lisa, you do that with your education, and I do that as well, but I'm still working on that as self-development. That's part of what we do as entrepreneurs, is self-development, and it's very important.
You got to make
Lisa,
time for it.
I'm really impressed with Exquisite Learners. I've seen your website and I've seen all the skills and techniques and all your attributes, what you have on Exquisite Learners, and how you actually work with children around your age group. Exquisite Learners, educate the audience a little bit more on Exquisite Learners, because I believe they need to hear more about your skills and what you've got to offer children. So can you offer us that, Lisa?
Sure, sure. Well, when I realized that it was going to be quite tough for me to go back in the classroom with the disabilities that I had had a little bit of time off work, and I was in a quite a low place actually, Frankie. I was really devastated because I've always loved teaching so much, and the thought of not doing it was just so hard. So Exquisite Learners was my savior, if you like. I talked to my husband. We came up with this idea that I would do this online tutoring and that I would start my own business, and that this would be a way for me to do what I love, but to not, it wasn't in the same way, it was in a different way. So like I say, pivoting, and this was pre-COVID. So I started developing this website, and I did it from scratch, and I loved every second of it. And then of course my entrepreneur mind was born. I call myself an edupreneur, because then I was like, cool, if I can build a website and I can do all of this, then this might actually have some legs in it. I'm going to really hope that this and it went from hope really to just knowing that I could make this possible, and knowing that this is what needed to happen in my life, and that this had all happened for a reason. And I almost call it my blessing in disguise, really. And it is hard when you've got a disability or something that goes wrong, but you have to look at the positive side of it, and you have to make it positive. And Exquisite Learners pulled me out of that. And so working on that and putting into it all of my vision and my ideas for the future and my plans, and then starting to write blog articles that I could share with people, and then opening up some social media avenues which I connected to the website, like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and then now YouTube. It just kept growing and growing. I'm now on LinkedIn as of about a month ago. And I started my YouTube channel about 2 months ago, which was really exciting, because the YouTube was pulling together my two loves in life, which is working with children and doing the teaching, and also being an artist, because my degree was half and half. It was education and art. And as a teacher full time, it was always very difficult for me to pursue that passion. But now, because I do have more time, I was able to ignite that passion again through COVID, lots of painting, lots of bringing back all that spark that I had. And I thought, well, I need to start offloading these. So I decided I'm going to start selling them, because why not? I don't need them all, can't keep them forever. I've got, so many. So my video program on my YouTube channel was a mix of those two loves, where I've done a drawing series where children and adults can follow along step by step with me as I draw simple pictures using simple shapes, lines, curves. And I called it Draw With Me, Lisa Marie. So it's basically just very simple drawings that you can follow along step by step for even the the it's anybody can try it, basically, is what I'm going to say. And then I've brought out another series now where a little bit more challenging pictures, but I've also proved that it doesn't matter as long as you give it a go, because I invited my 5-year-old to be in the video with me. So our hands, I'm drawing the picture or the first move, and he's copying me with his move. So now children and adults alike can see how it's actually done, and they can draw along with him and see how he's copying me. So that was really good fun and great to do it with the family.
Fantastic, Lisa. I like what Lisa said there. It's really good fun. And whatever
Oh,
we're doing, if we're doing it, we want to be enjoying it and have camaraderie and good
yeah.
cheer with our family. So that's great. She said it's good fun. I've seen this website, and what I like about this website is it's very professional, but it's very user friendly. It's very family oriented. It's a very warm website. So towards the end of our video, we will share all the details what you need to know about what Lisa does and where to find her, and about what I do and where to find me. So the fact that I'm interviewing Lisa, she's a very good friend of mine, and we do a lot of networking. And I met her at a networking event. But what's interesting about Lisa is she has a lot in common with what I want to do, because I want to work with children as well. And I want to design a children's book to help children to become leaders at any age they want to. Me and Lisa are going to show them a different route, how they can become successful and stand on their own 2 feet at any age that they want to do. I think it's a new age now, and there's a new age where children, for me, are a lot more smarter, they're a lot more wiser, and they're a lot more advanced. You know, it's incredible. I have a niece. My niece is 3, and she wakes up her family to go to the toilet, and she will not want to nappy. Now that's incredible. Not like me, Mardy Bum. You know, I used to do everything wrong when I was a kid. But you know, that's how advanced the kids really are. And I honestly believe, and sure Lisa would agree with me on this, that if you give kids nowadays anything to run with, or anything to explore, they're so
Mm.
advanced to just pick things up. You know, and we was used to be kids, and we was like that, very exploring things and rooting about and making a mess and wanting to learn and wanting to know new ideas and why this doesn't work and why that works and what this is all about. And sometimes
Yeah.
I'm a little bit dangerous. So
I
I've always kind of lived a bit dangerous, me, Lisa. Um, what about your childhood years? Would you say that you were a dangerous kind of child who lived a little bit dangerous, always adventurous?
yeah, I suppose I did take risks, but generally my best friend was the one that take most of the risks. I think I was a bit of a scaredy cat. Like I didn't like to get my hands too dirty, but she loved it. So she did she did a lot of the dirty work. But the way I describe children is that they're little sponges. You know, they just soak up everything you give to them, and you know they retain it all and keep it. And it's just such a love. It's just so lovely to work with children.
Yeah,
They keep you young.
exactly, Lisa, to keep you young. And when you're going through difficult times and challenging times, or you're a bit down or you're worried, when you see the children's faces or you tell what you brought in the world, you think, ah, that's why I'm here. This is why I'm
Yeah.
born. This is what the reason is for the purpose of me living in this world and doing what I do because I want to make their lives better and make a difference in their lives. So we've got to be the role model. We've always got to be stronger for our children. So
Mm.
Lisa's touched on what she does. And I like to design a book because I'm a leader and I'm a thought leader and I'm an entrepreneur. But would it be nice to have children to be entrepreneurs or thought leaders
Mm.
at the age of 15 or 16? Would that be a dream? Could we get children when they leave school to go straight into entrepreneurship or leadership? Why can't we do that, Lisa? Is that possible?
Well, I think that's definitely an avenue, and I think there have been examples of children at young ages that have had inventions or that have had really good ideas to go on to be successful. I think there's been a change in the world in the last 10-15 years, technology wise, where young people have been found on YouTube, and there's all sorts of opportunities now, and I think children need to know that from a very, very young age, as soon as we can talk to them, that option is there, that there's some very successful adults in the world that don't have much of an education even behind them, yet they became very successful entrepreneurs. And with this situation as it is, there's still loads of people wanting to go to university and further their education and get master's degrees, PhDs, and that's great. But there's also people that they don't want to go down that route, but they still have the opportunity of being able to become extremely successful
Choice,
without that background.
I agree with you. Choices and opportunities. And like you said, I mean, I've got a niece, a cousin of mine who's called Regan, and she's interested in YouTube. She's still a little bit young now, but she wants me to show her how to use YouTube. So isn't that great that I can show someone? It's very important that what we know as entrepreneurs and what we learn on social media, that we teach each other people. And isn't it
Mhm.
nice to know that your family or one of your family members or your nieces or nephews wants to learn about social media or YouTube? Because I guarantee that they'll probably teach me a lot about social media that I don't even know about. And
Yeah.
that's the key, and that's the skill, and that's what's so rewarding as a mentor and a coach,
Mhm.
that you're learning from the mentee and the coaching. So it's a win-win situation. So when you're
Absolutely.
teaching people, They always learn something new together and grow together. So that forms like a special bond or a special relationship. So me and Lisa, what we're hoping to do is Lisa looking at the fun and the picture side and the illustration side of things. I'm looking at more of the kind of leadership and developing a book around how I can influence them to be entrepreneurs or thought leaders in their specific field of what they want to do. Add a little bit of fun and a bit of camaraderie to the book, So we're hopefully going to collaborate and do something together with a couple of our friends as well, and see if we can build a network of how we can help children get to where they need to go. Probably a lot more quicker than what it took me to get to where I need to go. I started to get on my feet around about the late 40s. I'm 52 now, so everything's going well for me. So I've just moved up in the years, of where I am now. But for kids, with the technology, with the digital developments, with the internet, online, social media, all these, I call them gadgets, which can really help the kids bring them on. It's actually doing that. So I feel, Lisa, they can do things a lot quicker. They can learn things a lot more faster in the world we're living in today. How do you see that?
I agree. And as you were talking, I was thinking about, what we've talked about, because we've talked for many hours because of being on the same page and wanting to collaborate because we're both working with children. It's like I'm working with the low end, you're working with children slightly older than mine. So it works really well together. And I was thinking about how we've both just done videos about communication and the importance of communications because we were part of a summit talking about communication. And and then I was thinking about the early years curriculum and how from way down, from 2 years old upwards, you've got the number one is communication, and then you've got the personal and social. And absolutely why that isn't then continued throughout school as being the most important number one thing in every curriculum from once they get past 5 is kind of beyond me because it's almost an unspoken curriculum. Communication is still there, but I think we have to overtly teach these skills because if they learn to be great communicators and listeners, then they have the chance to go really far in life and maybe even be on the stage and be able to share their message from a young age and have that confidence. And I think it is all about confidence, Frankie, because again, I mentioned the personal and social, teaching them from very young that there's nothing they can't do and that they need to believe in themselves and they need to have that confidence and understand their uniqueness and their place in the world and in society. And I do think those should be number one right the way up the school as far as it goes, and even with adults, because when you get to our lovely age where we've lived a little bit and we've got some life behind us and we're looking at the prospect of life after 50, some people are like, oh my gosh, life after 50, can I pivot, can I change, can I make a start then? Well, yeah. So that learning doesn't stop with the children. It's like, yeah, not just 50, 60.
When
There's
I was
never
children,
a
when I
point
was a
stop.
child and I was young, yeah, I was thinking,
Exactly.
I
I,
haven't
do, I
reached
mean,
50. But I haven't reached age 50. And I'm thinking, wow, now that's why I call myself the wise entrepreneur, because I'm very wise to life. But when you're young, you don't see it. You've got to go through all these experiences and all these challenges. Is that right, Lisa? And we've got to grow and learn and develop. So hopefully, I've got a bit of wisdom what I can share with the younger generation and the children and help them to develop and grow. So,
absolutely. And this is again why I say in my position that parents are the first educators of the child from the minute they leave the womb and join us. And so suddenly we pass our children over to other people when they start nursery school or playgroup, but we can still be very much a part of their life in educating them for the time that they're with us, even when they go to someone else. And that parents have got to be the number one educator for their child. Nobody knows their child as well as they're ever going to know them. So yeah,
On
So
my
it's
business card,
it.
I've got embrace, empower, educate.
There you go.
You know the power of that with children. And we've talked about communication, Lisa. So give me one aspect of being a good communicator with our children.
Uh, Listening doesn't automatically seem like the most important thing, but it's the most important thing, because if
Such an
you can,
important skill, isn't it?
yeah, if you can be a good listener, and when I say that, I don't mean just remembering a few things and then thinking, oh yeah, that's happened to me. I mean proper active listening and showing that other person you're communicating with that you are understanding them, you're reciprocating with appropriate questions or asking for clarification to show that you're interested. So listening is very, very important within communication. It can help people to know that whoever you're communicating with knows that you're with them, and they might be like, oh gosh, yeah, they really get me, this is great, so you can be a fantastic communicator and influence people through your communication by being a good listener.
I think that's great because when kids know they're being listened to, it shows that you respect them. Anybody, it shows that you're really listening to what they're saying. And what I find when you're a good listener, Lisa, is how you see that person opening up more to you because he knows that you're listening to all his needs and his worries. I find that anyway that people usually open up because they can see that I'm listening with intent. So
Indeed, Frankie.
I would say a good form of communication for me is being a good friend to somebody. Being
Mm,
best friend, like I'm a best friend to my daughter. So
mm.
she can tell me anything. I'm her best friend and it goes between me and my daughter. So I would treat her like a best friend and treat them like human beings.
Yeah,
Like they've got education, they've got a brain in their head, they can think for themselves, And that's
yeah,
a form of listening as well, because when you're best friends with them, you can listen to their needs and their problems and their sorrows.
100%. And what I love about what you've just said is when you're listening to that, you don't have to, as a parent or a best friend, you don't have to solve it. That it's okay to just listen and be there with them, because sometimes we just have a deep need as human beings to be listened to be heard. And we don't always necessarily want someone to try and fix it. And sometimes it can't be fixed, like worries over COVID. I mean, I wrote a blog post when the children were going back to school about this very thing, about parents talking with their children about it and giving the children a chance to express themselves and their concerns and their worries, and not feeling like you have to fix them. Some things we can't fix and some things we could fix, but it's good to step back and just listen and hear them and acknowledge them and say, I hear what you're saying. And if you want to be super supportive, then you could give back an example of how you might even be feeling the same in that same situation as a grown up. And then you empower them to realize that, you know, that, oh, other people are feeling this too. And, my mum and my dad's really listening. And it's just and it builds such a great bond and relationship if you can get it right. And it's lovely for me to hear you say that, she's your best friend.
Well, I know as a youth and as a kid, Lisa, and you know this yourself, how many times when your parents have told you not to do something, you do the opposite because you want to know why you can't do it. You always seem to rebel or you think, no, I was like that, very very challenging and very daring person. I always wanted to live life dangerous. I always wanted to do things or push a boat. And sometimes it got me into a bit of trouble. And sometimes I'm still here. So I do believe my faith and my beliefs has probably helped me get through my life. Because I've always believed in something's out there. I've always believed in that I'm here for a reason. And when you
Mm,
take the knots and the rough and the smooth and the bumps and not the knocks what I've had, you start to think, you know what? There might be a deeper meaning to my life. Sort my head out, Frankie, grow up and get out there and put something back into the world and make a difference to people's lives. And that's what you do, Lisa, don't you? You make a difference in people's lives, and
And
especially
that's really,
families' lives.
that's absolutely, we both do, Frankie, and that's what I wanted to do from the minute I started teaching. And I'm sure, you know, that's what's driven you to be where you are, because I think that is so important for people like us to give back. You know, it's about helping others. It's about feeling good when you lay your head on the pillow at the end of the day that you've given back, you know, because in a way it would be a bit of a crime for me to have all of this knowledge and experience of working in other countries and working with hundreds and hundreds of children and doing all this stuff to then just sit back and just share it with my child. I feel like I have this we have an obligation to share this with the world. You know, it would be extremely selfish of us not to help others if we can. And I think that's what drives us and just makes us, you know, lights us up and makes us passionate human beings for helping.
I like that.
That's my
Passionate
take
human
anyway.
beings. That's what it's about. And
Yeah.
as you grow up and you get older, you realise the things which I didn't have, which I feel I wish I would have had that. Maybe
Yeah.
it might have gone in a different direction in my life, but you know, we're still here to tell that tale. That's the important thing, with a lot of experience and wisdom. So that's really important, isn't it, Lisa?
Oh
So
yes.
thank you so much, Lisa, for this for this for this talk, for this YouTube talk. It's been really great listening to your passion, Lisa. Lisa,
Thank you for
where
having
can we
me.
find you? Tell me a bit more about where we can find you. Tell me a bit about your website, your links and stuff like that. You want to share it on this platform for people to
Yeah,
get hold of
absolutely.
you?
I will as soon as we're on YouTube, I'll start there. We my channel is called Exquisite Learners. I chose a funny spelling. I was a bit nervous at the time. I thought, will everybody think I don't know how to spell? That's not good for a teacher. But I chose it. It's X and it's quiz, as in, you know, you do lots of quizzes and you help children to learn. So it's X quiz it learners. So that's the unusual spelling. But it's also the Draw With Me Lisa Marie can be tapped into YouTube as well, and it can be found. But I've also got the website, which is xquisitelearners.co.uk. I have Exquisite Learners on Facebook and on Instagram. And I also have a Facebook group, which I didn't mention, where I'm already helping so many parents and carers with their children. It's called Teach Your Child at Home, 3 to 8 year olds. And that is the Facebook group, Teach Your Children at Home, 3 to 8 year olds. And I've got quite a lovely community in there of supportive people. We've all got the same vibe. We're all there to become the very best educators for their children at home. And you know, just sharing some wisdom with each other, sharing stories, and I'm giving back as much as I can to that group. So that's there as well. And then also you can contact me at lisa@exquisitelearners.co.uk via email. So yeah, I'm out there on all platforms, but don't forget, I'm also got my pictures too at Exquisite with Heart. And that's another play on words, because that's HEART, and the ART is the art bit in the heart. So that's where you'll find all my creativity and my paintings and everything. So I'm on social media with Exquisite with the Heart too. So thank you for letting me share that, Frankie.
Thank you, Lisa. Now you've seen all that information, you've heard all that information, ladies and gentlemen. I will actually share that at the bottom of my YouTube video, this one, with all the details on there. So please look out for Lisa and look out for myself, because we're doing great things for the next generation and our children. Believe me, we're going to knock them blind. They're going to be the leaders of the 21st century with all our expertise. And we really want to make a difference to children's life and show them a different way that they can become the great people that we know they are. Because kids are incredible people. They're amazing. They've got so much resilience. They've got so much stamina, energy. They're consistent. They're persistent. They annoy you. They poke you. They challenge you. And that's what we need, yeah, to grow and to become better people. So thanks again, Lisa. Really appreciate you. You know me, Frankie Kington. My YouTube channel, Frankie Kington Life Coaching. I'm on a platform called www.memby.com. That's by.com/Frankie-Kington. This YouTube video will be on that platform where I advertise all my social media and what I do as an entrepreneur and thought leader. Please have a look at that site. You'll find me on Facebook, Empowering Youth Development, Inspiring Voice, and Frankie Kington. I do wholesale and resale distribution. You'll find me on there as well. And I'm on Instagram. And I've got some YouTube channels, Frankie's Healthy Homegrown Foods and the Spirit of Meditation. So if you really like this video, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Please leave Lisa and myself a little comment about what you felt about this video. Have a look at what we do and look out for our space, because I'll be sharing it below, and I'm sure you're going to find this very interesting. So Lisa, thanks again, my dear friend. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming on with your lovely, smiling, bubbly face and your lovely personality. And yeah, thanks again. Thank you, audience. Warmest wishes to you all. And take care and look after yourselves. Thanks again.
Take care.